Hey everyone, it's Angie. Welcome back to my channel, Angie and the Great World. So today I wanted to let you guys know about a read-along that I am co-hosting along with two other hosts. They are Lindsay from Lindsay Reads, who you probably know from here on BookTube. And then there's also Cami from Cami's Corner. Now she does have a BookTube channel, but she hasn't posted on her channel in a few years, I believe. But she is active over on Instagram. So I will post links to both of my co-hosts. So I have been wanting to read through the 3 series John Bellairs wrote for children. Now I've read most of the books in all 3 of his series, but not all of them. And I just thought, it's time to reread. And why not make this a read-along? Because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If you are not familiar with John Bellairs, I think everybody needs to become familiar with John Bellairs. Everybody needs to know who he is because he has just some brilliant books for children. So what we decided was that we would read through his Louis Barnevelt series first. We might take a break, then read through another one of his series, either the Anthony Monday series or the Johnny Dixon series. Then we'll take a break, and then we will continue with the final series. Now, there is no obligation to read through all 3 series with us because it is going to be a time commitment, but I really hope that I can interest you in at least reading a few of the Louis Barnevelt books with us. And if you're hooked and you love them, maybe you'll continue and finish the entire Louis Barnevelt series with us and then move on to the 2nd series and on to the 3rd series. So anyway, before I get into the details about the read-along, which really is very simple, I wanted to just give you a little bit of background information on how I learned about John Bellairs. So back when Book 7 in the Harry Potter series was published, I had just finished rereading through the entire series. I had read the final book in the series, and I was really in the mood to read something that was similar to Harry Potter. I just had this Harry Potter itch that I wanted to scratch, and I didn't know what to read. So I went to my public library. I was browsing the shelves in the children's section, where they keep the chapter books for children. And I was just browsing and I came across these books that had some older dust jackets, and they were very interesting looking. Some of them had illustrations by Edward Gorey. Some of them had illustrations by Mercer. I don't know if it's Mayer or Meyer. He's the author and illustrator of the Little Critter books. Great illustrations too. And so I picked up a couple of random books. I read through them and I thought, this is what I'm looking for. And so I read everything that my library had. I read, I believe, the first 10 books in the Louis Barnevelt series. I think I read all of the books in the Anthony Monday series, and then a few of the books in the Johnny Dixon series. And then I was able to, when my library weeded those books, I was able to buy a few of those same copies. And then I got my hands on some more of the books through half price and thrift books. So I had the collection until just recently I sold them. I sold most of them on Pango. But anyway, I have really been, like I said, in the mood to reread all the books, and so that's what we're going to do. We are just going to read John Bellairs. Now, the first book in the Louis Barnevelt series, The House with a Clock in Its Walls, was made into a movie. It was adapted into a movie 5 years ago or so, maybe longer than that, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And Eric Kripke from Supernatural, the TV show, I believe he either directed or produced the movie. And so I had really high hopes going into the movie that it was going to be amazing. And you've got John Bellairs paired with Eric Kripke. I mean, it was going to be cinematic magic. But I was really disappointed in the movie. And I have not watched the movie since I saw it in the movie theater, so I don't know exactly why I was disappointed. I couldn't tell you at all. I just know it didn't live up to my expectations. So I should probably watch the movie again just to see what issues I had with the movie. But anyways, if you've watched the movie and you did not like it, erase the movie from your mind, because the book is just so much better. And if you liked the movie, you're going to like the book even more. So there's a car going by. I'm going to let it go by, and then I'm going to jump into the details of the read-along. Okay, so starting in April, we are going to read the first book in the Lewis Barnevelt series. So I'm just going to go through the month and the book we're reading that month. In April, we are reading The House with a Clock in Its Walls. In May, we are reading The Figure in the Shadows. June, The Letter, the Witch, and the Ring, which is one of my favorite books. July, The Ghost in the Mirror. That's another one of my favorite books. August, The Vengeance of the Witch Finder. September, The Doom of the Haunted Opera. I like that one too. I mean, I like all of them, but those are a couple of my favorites. October, The Specter from the Magician's Museum. November, The Beast Under the Wizard's Bridge. December, The Tower at the End of the World. January, The Whistle, the Grave, and the Ghost. February, The House Where Nobody Lived. And March, The Sign of the Sinister Sorcerer. So I did forget to mention that this read-along will go into 2025. We are reading one book per month, and we'll be chatting about each book each month. We still don't know if we're going to do this live on YouTube or if it'll be on a Zoom chat. I think that I'm leaning towards a Zoom chat just because I like the freedom that talking in a Zoom meeting has, where we can, deviate from the subject and it'll be okay. Whereas on a live YouTube chat, we would pretty much need to stick to the topic to keep from going on too long. But anyways, we're going to decide that once we know who's participating, and we're going to have people decide how we want to chat about the book, or where we want to chat about the book, on a YouTube Live or in a Zoom chat. Let me see, what else did I want to mention? Oh, just very briefly, John Bellairs, I believe, was only wrote all the books in the Anthony Munday series. He passed away in 1991, so he wasn't able to finish the Lewis Barnevelt series or the Johnny Dixon series. And so Brad Strickland finished the books he didn't get a chance to finish, and then he wrote on his own some of the other books. So for example, in the Lewis Barnevelt series, I believe John Bellairs wrote the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe he wrote the first. I'm gonna let that tractor go by. So I believe John Bellairs wrote the first 4 books in the Lewis Barnevelt series. I believe he had part of the 5th book written. Brad Strickland finished it, and then he had an outline for book 6. And so Brad Strickland used the outline to write book 6. And then I believe Brad Strickland wrote the rest of the books 7 through 12. And I do have to say, I could be wrong because it has been a while since I've read these books, but I feel like once Brad Strickland took over writing the books, the the series changed from gothic horror to more sci-fi horror. And also, horror is used very loosely. I mean, these are written for children, so even though the books are technically horror, they are creepy enough, you know, that a child might find them horrific, but for an adult, I feel like they're just cozy creepy. I mean, that's how I describe the books, cozy creepy. Anyway, I think that's it. This went longer than I wanted it to. I hope I've covered all the information that I needed to cover. I hope you will join us and at least read book 1. I'd say read the first 4 books, but at least join us and read the first book in the Louis Barnevelt series, The House with a Clock in Its Walls, in April, to get a taste of what's to come with Louis Barnevelt, Anthony Munday, and Johnny Dixon. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I will talk to you later.